What's good, y'all? Welcome back to the CFL podcast. And y'all, they did it. They did it. South Carolina State is in the Celebration Bowl. They locked up their spot. They're in the game. This we know. They will be representing the MEAC for the HBCU National Championship. Now, I don't want to brag, right? Because I don't do that. I don't like bragging, right? But I did call it. I mean, if y'all have been rocking with my channel from the beginning, right? You'll know I even made a video. I'll put that picture up so you'll know I'm not lying, all right? I put the picture up so y'all can see that I made a video saying boldly, in bold letters, it should have been in bold letters, South Carolina State will make the Celebration Bowl. I ain't say they'll win it. I'm saying they was going to make it. And long behold, they have done just that. It does not matter that they lost to North Carolina A&T 27-17 because Norfolk lost to Delaware State. They're now, I think, they have 2 losses in the conference. State is still undefeated. There's only 1 game left. They do play each other. That game no longer matters, really, because State is in it now. So that's that, right? And I'm happy. I'm happy and I'm proud because, I'm from South Carolina, live here. I'm 2 hours away from South Carolina State in Orangeburg. I was almost gonna go to South Carolina State out of high school if I didn't have a scholarship to play somewhere else. So, while in the SWAC I was rooting for JSU heavy, which y'all know, of course, in the MEAC it was always South Carolina State. I've been keeping a close eye on South Carolina State. That is who I rep for the MEAC, right? And if y'all remember, not too long ago, I did an interview with star receiver for South Carolina State, Shaquan Davis, aka Baby Megatron. So go check that out. I'm gonna put that picture up as well. But y'all, they made it, and now I want to talk about what they need to do to pull off the upset. Because if we're being realistic, no matter who they end up facing in the SWAC championship, whether that's JSU, whether that's Prairie View, or even Alcorn, because Alcorn is still in it, whether it's between those 3 schools, they will still be voted as an underdog, right? I'm sure on that. I'm pretty sure on that. So this is what they got to do. First off, let's take a look back at their whole season, okay? They're 5-5 so far. They have a chance to finish above 500, and I think they can do that versus Norfolk. But they're 5-5, and they came out the gate swinging early on in the season, going against Alabama A&M. We all know how bad they got blown out by Alabama A&M in the spring. So I'm looking at that game, and I'm like, I don't know how this is going to turn out. And then they come out and they only lose by 1 point. It was a real heartbreaking game. 42-41, okay? So they lose that, but at least I'm seeing them and I'm like, okay, the offense looks a lot better. They can really, they can put up points now. And then, of course, next week they play Clemson. Nobody expected them to win that or even be close, 49-3. And the game probably would have been a little bit different had they had Shaquan Davis, but he would be out for week 2 and week 3 versus those FBS opponents. So even though they weren't able to compete with Clemson, they would be able to compete with New Mexico State. And they did just that because New Mexico State is not a team that plays defense. They only want to outscore you, kind of like Bama A&M. And South Carolina State came pretty close to doing so, okay? It was 43-35. Then they beat BCU afterwards, Bethune-Cookman. We thought the game would be a lot closer with FAMU. They ended up losing that 30-7. It's very just up and down with the season so far. They get their first win at Bethune-Cookman, lose to FAMU after, it was a lot closer in the spring. Then they go on this 4-game winning streak, right? And they're barely putting these games out. They beat Morgan State handedly, right? Delaware State, they barely pull it out. Delaware State has a really good defense, very good defense in the MEAC, and they need credit. I should make a video on that. They need credit. They improved drastically, right? So they barely beat Delaware State. North Carolina Central won by 3. Howard won by 3. Okay, and then of course last week when they lost to North Carolina A&T, which does not matter because A&T is no longer in the MEAC. So What I took from that, when I go back and I look at how they played during the season, I say to myself, the only way South Carolina State is going to win is if Corey Fields has a day. This game is going to come down to Corey Fields. Understand me when I say this. South Carolina State has a lot of great players on that team, okay? But they're a young team. They're a young team. They lost a lot of people from that 2019 season. What's going to be the deciding factor is Corey Fields. He's the only person, that quarterback, who will have the ball in his hands the majority of the time. That offense going tit for tat with whoever it is, whether it's Prairie View, Alcorn, or Jackson State, is going to have to rely on Corey Fields to keep them up to par. And the reason why I'm on him like so heavily, right, is because Corey Fields is the type of quarterback to where he's on, right? Like when he's making good decisions and not turning the ball over, they'll go blow for blow with you, especially with Wilburine and Shaquan Davis on both ends of the field at receiver, right? But the offense has to have the game of their lives. They do. I'm confident in South Carolina State's defense showing up because they've been doing so for the majority of the season. They've been warriors, okay? Especially that secondary, too, and the linebacker core led by B.J. Davis, who's only a sophomore, exceptional talent. But it's going to come down to that offense. That offense is ranked fourth in the MEAC. Keep in mind, there are only 6 teams in the MEAC now that 3 schools have left. So they're ranked 4th out of 6 on total offense. They're 3rd in running, right? So they average about 137 yards per game, 4 yards a carry, which isn't bad as well. I forget the running back's name. Oh, I forget his name, man. But dude is really talented. I think it starts with the K. I don't know why. It just escapes my memory. It escapes my... let me see. Did I write it down? No, so I don't have it. His name escapes my mind. But the running back for them is really good as well. We'll get into that later, though. Also, they're 4th in passing. They're 4th in passing in the MEAC, right? So keep in mind, only 6 teams, and they are 4th. That's not really impressive, to say the least. They only average 206 yards a game passing. If Corey Fields can get it going, because we've seen games where he can do so. If he can get it going, South Carolina State is just as hard to stop as any SWAC team. And I'll go to bat for that. They really are, right? But see, Corey Fields, the problem with him, right? He's second to last in the MEAC in pass efficiency. Second to last, right? And when you look at his stats on the season, he's 148 for 300. That is a 49% completion percentage. That's not going to get it done. 49% on the year ain't going to get it done versus whatever SWAC team you end up playing. His touchdown to interception ratio, 50-50, 11-11. 11 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. That has to get better as well. This is what I mean when I say he has to take care of that football. Corey Fields is going to have to take care of that football in the SWAC, in the Celebration Bowl, okay? And on the year, he has 1,894 yards. Not bad. I just feel like if he was able to come down on the turnovers, his stats will look a lot better. Nobody on South Carolina State's team has eye-popping stats. That's because these guys really work together as a unit. This is not a 1 or 2 man show. These guys work great together, which is why they were able to prevail through most of these games that they've had on this season, right? Which is why they were able to put up a fight versus teams they should not have even be able to compete with. Then you got Shaquan Davis, all right? Baby Megatron. Like I said, I did an interview with him. Y'all can go check that out. Shaq Davis is going to be who you have to stop if Corey Fields gets going. You're going to have to stop him. I don't know who's going to do it, right? Because Shaq Davis is a matchup nightmare, man. 6'5", 215. Now, keep in mind, he was out for a couple weeks early on in the season with the injury, so we don't even know what he could have done versus those FBS opponents, right? But Shaq Davis averages 21 yards per catch. Man, he's been doing this since last year. He's a deep ball threat. Somebody who you better be able to cover. It's going to be a long day for you. Now, on the year, he has 29 receptions, 628 yards, and 2 touchdowns in only 8 games played. And he's first in the MEAC. Keep in mind, everybody else above him has played in 10 games. He missed 2, and he's still number 1 in the MEAC. Shaq Davis is going to be that guy that you stop, that you're going to have to stop and take out of the game if Corey Fields goes off. And let me say this about Shaq Davis, right? He ain't a guy you can stop. You can probably hope to contain him. You can contain him, but you ain't gonna stop him because he gonna get his, right. Red zone situations, that's where they're going. All right, like his stature, his frame, he's only gonna get bigger. That ain't somebody y'all want to mess with. All right, for those of you who don't know, who ain't from South Carolina, that Summerville area is where Shaq Davis is from. They put out athletes. All right, ask AJ Green. Now, Wolverine is the next guy that's going to have to be stopped. He's also on that receiving core for the offense. So Wolverine, 40 catches, because he had to step up in place of Shaq Davis. Wolverine is a senior. Shaq Davis is only a redshirt sophomore. So Wolverine, 40 catches on the year, 556 yards, 3 touchdowns, and he averages 13 yards per catch. Y'all gonna have to stop that duo. Whoever it is, they're going to have to stop that duo. And then keep in mind, their running back, whose name just eludes me. I don't know why I forgot it so quickly. But that combination of those 4 guys, they're going to be hard to stop. They're going to be hard to stop. The same way Nico Duffy, Felix Harper, LaCharles Pringle, and C.J. Bollard are hard to stop with Alcorn, they're just as hard to stop as well. And then you get to the defense. B.J. Davis, the leader of that linebacking core, he's only a sophomore. B.J. Davis is NFL talent, right? 53 tackles, 44 of them solo, and 2 sacks on the year. Then you got my favorite player on this roster, Duran. He's a Senior Bowl invite, okay? He's at the HBCU All-Star Game invite, the HBCU Legacy Bowl invite for the NFL scouts. He's going there as well. He has 11 pass deflections and 3 interceptions on the season. This is the guy who picked off the kill glass multiple times in the spring. This is the guy who had 2 interceptions versus Clemson earlier in the year. You throw Jacoby's way, a pick is going to come eventually. He's locked down. Don't let that size fool you. Jacoby is locked down. I will preach that to anybody. That is my favorite player in this HBCU draft class, to be honest with you. So you got Jacoby, right? Then you got Mr. Agent Zero himself. I love that name, by the way. That's hard. Agent Zero, he goes by the name of Zafir Kelly. All right, Agent Zero. He's a ball-hawking DB as well. I think he plays a little safety and corner too, but I've seen him at safety. This ain't going to be an easy feat for whoever sees them. Y'all, people look at the MEAC and they think, well, no matter who we play, we're going to body him. South Carolina State is no pushover. I need y'all to know that. South Carolina State is no pushover. Jalen Page, 6'2", 85 on that offensive line. He was a part of my video early on in the year as well. Jalen Page is a dog. They can run that ball behind Jalen. Best believe that. It ain't going to be easy for whoever sees South Carolina State. But I made this video just to say that, man, I'm happy for him. I'm proud of him. If Jackson State does make the Celebration Bowl, and it's Jackson State versus South Carolina State, as I have predicted from week 1, I ain't gonna know whose side to sit on. That's all I'm gonna say. I don't know that. I think I'm gonna sit on Jackson State side, but just know it's gonna be a good game, a hard one to watch, just because I root for both teams. But an exciting game nonetheless. So with that being said, man, let me know what you think about South Carolina State being in the Celebration Bowl down below. Let me know, are y'all overlooking them? Are y'all not overlooking anybody? Whether you're a fan of PV, JSU, or Alcorn, just let me know down below in the comment section, okay? I would like to know all of that. With that being said, man, you are watching the CFL podcast. I go by the name of Kobe, and I'm out. Peace.